I mean, the water issue, which is fascinating. Puerto Rico has 100 oases, so sweet water places, all across the island. Many of them were active, many of them were working, but because it was 2 or 3 people that were in charge of that, plus FEMA, the issue was not lack of water. The issue was lack of communication. Fake news 101. When somebody goes and says all the water wells are infected, and on top of that, you don't have EPA there, first thing in the morning, testing every water source in the island. Puerto Rico needed 1 million gallons a day. They had the water in the island. The only thing they had to be doing, making sure that all the generators were functioning in these water places, which was not hard to do, making sure that the water was tested, and making sure that the leaders were communicating on time to the people that the water was okay to be drinkable by all. This was not information was being delivered. Nobody wanted to be touching the water. We had to be bringing 1 million gallons a day from outside. That was not happening. The island was going thirsty. 4 weeks ago, I saw a woman that didn't have a glass of decent water in 48 hours. And this was all around the island in 110 humidity. So those problems are man-created. Here, luckily for us, we have a water that is more than water. It's a waters that is bringing us those ideas for 47 years of how those problems are actually low-hanging fruit opportunities. What happened in Puerto Rico and in other parts of the world sometimes is created by nature. But the next crisis always happens created by humanity. We need to start making sure that humans, we are at the service of taking care of humans and not becoming the problem instead of bringing the true solution, 1 glass of water at a time in this case.
Well, this brings me to an interesting conversation.
Yeah, you can.
You can go ahead and just speak if you like. Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to tell you a small water story. I was at the University of Indiana, Bloomington, and they wanted to put in water fountains on the campus so that everybody could have water for free. But it seems that one of those big corporations, dare I name it, Nestle's, had given funds to the university. And along with that came a contract for bottled water. And they would not let the university put in water fountains because it would cut into their bottled water business. So this is what's happening. And I go many places and visit many enlightened universities around the country. But these corporations have, really locked in their contracts and sweetened it with a donation for a building or an endowment of something. And it's very difficult for the university to take the risk. And I'm just waiting for one. I hope the University of California can do this because they have a food and agriculture initiative that they want to achieve by 2025, that they are going to, but they're going to have to go up against that big money. And it always comes down to that. I don't know whether you, I'm sure, experienced that these companies buy the wells. They buy the water rights to, the areas. I'm surprised I haven't bought them for all of Puerto Rico. And then they basically sell it back to us.
Well, one of the interesting things when we were having our discussion last week in advance of our Washington Post Live discussion, and we were talking about Puerto Rico, you had mentioned also the wildfires in Northern California, and that you were believing that that there might be a relationship that you wanted to talk about there, and how you had been affected by the wildfires.
Well, it's very fresh in my mind, like this is for you. It's incredibly emotional because the chef from the restaurant lost her house and her winery just burnt completely to the ground. But the way that everybody's responding in Napa and all around the area feels a little bit like what's happening in Puerto Rico. It's an emergency, and everybody's doing whatever he or she can do. And it's beautiful to see that, to feel that restaurants are really ready to go up to Napa to feed people, and they've come together. And it feels like a war zone up there. I mean, it's something very, very shocking to all of us.
Okay.